Hi, this is Sandy with SDS Digital and the Accord Sequarallel. In Playbook 7, we're going to use a TRAX tracker sequence to control a Melisma chord module. From the Sequarallel, we'll patch the gate, root CV, chord, inversion, spread, velocity, arp clock, and the L hand input on the Melisma. The hold arp switch input will go to a RITM to switch from chord to arp mode. Melisma's MIDI out will go to the Sequarallel's MIDI in. Each lane in the TRAX tracker will control a part of the Melisma. Lane 1 will be patched to the root input. Lane 2 will select chords from the list. Lane 3 will offset the chord inversion, and Lane 4 will offset the chord spread. So let's start the tracker. The TRAX MIDI output won't be used but has been set to MPE Zone 0, which is channel 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have left channel 2 active in MIDI push, so we can hear the notes in lane 1 to start. In CV mode, the jacks are configured directly from TRAX 1's lane 1 to 4. It's important to turn off Merge MIDI in, as the Melisma's MIDI will be feeding into the MIDI input on the Sequarallel. If it was left on, the merge would cause an endless loop on lane 1. The reason for using the MIDI in is so both modules go to the same MIDI synth, but also because we'll be recording the results into a layer. The Melisma's root offset knob has been set to 0, as the Sequarallel will output the correct voltage to match the notes. Lane 2's notes will trigger the Melisma's chords. In the Melisma, here's the 4-chord range we'll be using. The 4 chords are spread out over the range of 0 to 5 volts, so a bit of searching for notes in lane 2 was necessary beforehand. So first we'll patch the root to lane 1's CV out. Then the gate. So far so good. Lane 2 is the chord selection. The knob should be fully up to cover the full range, which is 4 chords. You can see the chords switching on the Melisma screen. So that's lane 2. Lane 4 is to offset the chord spread. Controlling the spread from lane 4 opens up a lot of rhythmic possibilities. You can hear the changes in spread over the sequence. Again, the TRAX notes in lane 4 had to be set by ear until the desired spread was achieved. So the third lane is to control inversion. This is the low note of the chord, so with triads only has 3 possibilities. Nonetheless, it is still important, so it's preferred. By the way, the note range on lane 4 is different as I have set it for a specific VCO, and the 0 note is 48. By default, the 0 volt offset is note 36 unless you changed it. So any notes below 36 will just wrap up 1 volt. Now for the velocity. By default, the CC jack in the row is velocity. The Melisma's velocity input will work nicely with it. Wow, that's louder. The Melisma's velocity knob should be centered when patched for full range. Now to patch in L hand. This can be a smooth waveform for melody or pulsed for bass accompaniment. The smooth waveform is from envelope 3. Variations to L hand triggers notes. Envelope 2 has some pulses, so L hand switches to bass mode. Note lock is on, so the bass will follow the roots. Now to add ARP clock so we can get some arpeggios when hold input is active. I have patched ARP clock to envelope 4 and will use Ritem's CV output to switch the ARP on and off through hold. There, it works. Melisma is ARPing. Melisma now has a selection of user-programmable masks for the arpeggiator. I have the CC knob configured to select ARPs in this program. That one's good. The ARP button selects the order of notes in the ARP. So now everything is patched, we can try playing with TRAX global effects to change it. Velocity levels work fine. TRAX swing works. Transpose does just that, but remember we have other lanes controlling the spread and chords, etc., so those will change too, as you can hear. The solution is to record the MIDI input from the Melisma into a layer, then we can apply effects after, and even song effects. This should be a one-shot recording and start on the clock so it aligns right away. First we'll record the chords in, and 4 bars. I had to skip a minute of video as I had turned on solo, thus TRAX was no longer sending to the Melisma for the arpeggio recording. So that's next. There it is. I had already made a second layer loop step when I screwed it up, which is why it's playing alone right now. Now to mute the TRAX and the Melisma so we can hear the layers. Here's each layer in its own step. Oops, I left the Melisma's ARP going. It will continue to ARP as long as there's an A clock and the hold input is active, which it is. Better. The layer quick box has a quantization which can modify the way it plays. And for a completely different sound, mirror can be used without messing up the chords and spread of the melisma. Transpose now does what is expected. So song effects and layer steps can work hand in hand, as you probably already know. I'll outro this video while playing with that. Thanks for watching!